So this is an assembly video. Once you have these masks printed, this is a medium mask. I've been doing blue is small, gray is medium, and white is large. This is a medium mask. Once it's printed, it takes kind of 8 to 10 minutes depending. You will need some fine sandpaper, nylon for the ear loops, adjusters, ear loop adjusters, and this is weather stripping for the padding. And then scissors or flush cut snips is what I have. So the first thing you want to do is sand the inside here. If you rub your fingers in it, you'll notice that on most printers there will be, some little jagged edges that come out. It's not perfectly smooth. And since the inside, you don't have to worry about that for the outside, but for the inside, since this is where it will be touching the face, or kids might be sticking their tongue in, you really want to make it as smooth as possible. The nose, in particular, is likely to have some rough edges. So be sure you get the top edge as well to make it nice and smooth, and then rub your fingers in it to see if there are any sharp points. We got one at the top of the nose. Alright, so now it's good. Kind of rub your fingers over all of it. Make sure there's no jagged edges. Alright, it's sanded. Now for the ear loops. You can see here I've marked the current, as of the time of this filming, the best sizing I have for the ear loops. It's going to look really big, but you'll see why once we tie it. We're giving ourselves a little extra room. So the small is 13 inches, the medium is 15, and the large is 16 inches. So, and you can do this with a regular, whatever you've got on hand. If you have a normal ruler, you can just measure 12 and then grab that piece and get the extra inches. But since I've got this cutting board, it makes it a little easier. So there's the 12 or 13, and It doesn't have to be exact. Oops. There you go. Made a mistake. I'll keep that for a small one. This is a medium. So, we're going to 15. So it doesn't have to be exact, just has to be kind of close. Since we have the ear loop adjusters, they'll be able to fine tune it themselves. But it does need to be close. Alright, so I've got my two 15-inch ear loops. So we do, you have these little eyelets. So you pass it through, and then we'll try to do this slowly so you can see it. You pinch your thumb. Kind of tie a half knot, just wrap it around, pull it through. I adjust the loop so that I've got about a thumb's width here. So this is about the width of my thumb before I pull it tight. So that's one little knot. On a small, you need 3 knots. On a medium, you need 4 knots. On a large, you need 5 knots. So this is a medium, so I'm going to make 4 knots. I just do another little half knot. Pull it in to make that bigger, and I'll show you what we're doing here in a second. So that's 3, and that's 4. So now, when we pull this tight, it doesn't come through. If it starts coming through, you can always just add another knot. It's not a big deal. So the ear loops go back on the same side. So this is looking at it dead on, so you can see that the ear loop is on one side of the face. The same thing, I'm going to make that kind of half loop knot, thumb's width, pull it tight. That's one, that's two, that's three, and that's four. Pull it tight. That one's good. Repeat the process. Doesn't matter if you start on the top or the bottom. There's the knot. Leave a thumb's width. Pull it tight. And there are other ways of doing this, like if you know how to sew. But this is fast and easy, and it works. And I don't know how to sew, so this will do the job. And you want to not make it really twisted. You do want to kind of pull it, so that's where I went like this, to pull it, make it as straight as possible. I usually do go with the curvature. You can see one end kind of turns, so I'll use that to make it easier to get it through the eyelet. But mainly you just don't want it to be really twisted. That would be uncomfortable. There's three, and there's four. Pull it, make sure. All right, we got our ear loops. Now we will use the adjusters. And there's a couple different ways to do this. It is hard to get them on. You can, if you've got needle and thread, you can put the thread around here, stick the needle through and pull it through. It's pretty snug, so it can be difficult. I have a very small wrench, hex wrench, but you can use anything that's small enough to fit through here. This is just about the right size, so it fits. What I do is I stick it through and kind of bend it to give it a little more play. It's probably not good for my hex wrench, but I got several of those. So there. Expanded it a little bit. And on the ones I have, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but there's one side, like the gap is a little bit bigger. So stick the, kind of fold this up, stick it into the big end, and then push it through. It usually works pretty nicely. You can see I've pushed it through, pull the hex wrench out, pull it in a little bit, just leave a little, that way they can adjust it themselves. Repeat the process. I don't know if the video is picking it up or not, but you might hear the sound in the background of another mask being printed. They're going pretty much every moment I'm awake right now. I am printing them as fast as they will go, and I got another printer on order to kick them out sooner. All right. We have the ear loops with the adjusters. Now, these usually come in kind of a double roll like this. You can just kind of pull it apart to get it. You only need one side. So the one I have here has a little sticky side, so you kind of pull that back. And I start on the bottom chin side. And see if I can get a good view here on the camera. I try to leave just a little bit, like maybe just a little, like an 1/8 of an inch sticking out over the side. And that kind of provides the padding and the comfort. It also makes it a pretty good seal when the sizing is right. You just kind of bend it. The nose piece, you do have to make a little fold there to get it into the nose piece. That's especially difficult on the smalls because that's a pretty tight turn. On the mediums, it's not that big of a deal. On the large, it's pretty easy. So you're just kind of bending this as you go to fit and stick up just a little bit over the edge. I'll give you kind of a close-up. And then I match up the edges. Again, they don't need to be perfect. And then I cut it. Then you go back through and just push on the weather stripping. Make sure that it's stuck on there pretty well. So you can see how it sticks up just a little bit all the way across. Had to do a little fold there to get that in. Go back over it, make sure it sticks really well. And you're done.